It is Tuesday, the 9th of June. Hello and a very good evening to you. Welcome to KTN Prime. I certainly hope you had a productive day. Thank you for joining me. Now, in our bulletin last night, we covered extensively the details of the 38 billion shilling leasing of medical equipment that governors were raising questions about. Well, today it does appear that a change of heart was had, and the governors are now willing to sign the deal. In this bulletin, we'll also look at a drastic proposal regarding the IEBC and the far-reaching implications it could have. This is KTN Prime. These and other stories are in our headlines tonight.
Magical figure 9. What are they doing?
The IEBC is too large for nothing. Speaker Muturi's radical proposal.
Therefore,
The trouble with Nyeri. Another woman chops off her husband's private. The time to surrender. Governor's Council now accepts medical equipment for counties.
Henry Rotich was supposed to be here, amepotea, sijui yako wapi. Kaimeni was supposed to be here, not here. Aden Mohammed was supposed to be here, not here. But then when they have these other functions where they are busy trying to strike deals with internet, they're all there.
And be warned, Uhuru tells cabinet secretaries snubbing important functions. Thank you for watching and welcome once again to KTN Prime. Meresha Owiti is our sign language interpreter and I'm Nancy Kachungira. Now, the Council of Governors has beaten a hasty retreat and agreed to accept the hospital equipment offered by the national government for county referral hospitals. Some of the governors, as we did report, had earlier refused to have the 38 billion shillings worth of equipment, citing unresolved issues.
It is a matter that has been the subject of a tug of war between governors and the national government for several months now. That push and pull, however, now seems to have come to an end, but not without conditions.
We want to allow those governors who have not signed the memorandum of understanding on the managed equipment, health equipment scheme, to be at liberty to sign.
Just last week, the governors, while attending a retreat in Naivasha, swore not to accept the equipment, claiming that most of the details of the lease agreement had not been availed to them. Among the issues they raised was the lack of a public tendering process prior to the award of the lease. Today, however, they seemed to be reading from a different script.
The signing, allowing the governors to sign, is for purposes of making it clear to the public, the general public in Kenya, that the Council of Governors is not opposed. It is not entirely opposed to the managed equipment scheme.
The governors, however, still insist that the leasing deal is still shrouded in mystery, especially on issues of who would be charged with the maintenance of the equipment. On Wednesday, Deputy President William Ruto, while appearing on Citizen TV, insisted that leasing would save the county government's money since the maintenance would now be tasked to the leasing company.
The leasing comes with the equipment. It comes with the personnel to manage it. The issue of repairing it is on the person leasing the equipment to us. The maintenance, the repairs, everything. Okay. We pay for the service.
Many counties will require, for the program to succeed, budgetary support to put in place the infrastructure that is required for this equipment to function.
The governors claim that they still have no idea from whom the equipment is being leased and are being forced to sign a deal whose full details they still do not have. Munya insisted that they are, however, ready to meet with the national government in order to iron out the details. In the meantime, the level 5 hospitals will now be getting new diagnostic equipment. Wilson Buru, KTN, Nairobi.
So a rather quick turnaround there. Elsewhere, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has proposed a radical reduction in the number of commissioners at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Muturi said that he prefers the commissioners of the IEBC be reduced from 9 to just 3 to end regional interests in the commission and make it more efficient. The move is, however, being met with opposition from various quarters. Ben Kitili tells us why.
Barely 2 years to the 2017 general election, Speaker of the National Assembly Justin Muturi has launched a campaign to slash the number of commissioners in the electoral body from the current 9 to just 3.
A country of 40 million people, 9 commissioners, every day waking up pretending to be able to work. Which work, Mashari? Which work? I mean, every day you are dealing with policy. When is this policy going to be implemented?
Muturi hit out at the electoral body for what he called having too many commissioners, simply for the sake of having regional balance.
And just ask the question. Okay, so you are coming to work on Monday. So what are you, do you have a meeting of the commission? No. So since you don't have a meeting of the commission, what are you doing?
Article 5 of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act clearly states the composition of the IEBC, that it shall consist of a chairperson and 8 commissioners. The Isaac Hassan-led commission is currently composed of Lilian Mahiri Zaja, who is the vice chairperson, as well as commissioners Albert Bwire Kule Godana, Yusuf Nzibo, Abdullahi Sharawe, Thomas Letangule, Mudhoni Wangai and Mohamed Alawi. It's not clear if Muturi's proposal will gain consensus from Parliament. The MPs will have to amend the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act in order to reduce the number of commissioners.
A country like India with 1.2 billion people, their electoral management body has 3 or 5 commissioners. Go to South Africa. Go to Britain.
However, chaired by Jenny Watson, the British Electoral Commission is currently composed of 10 commissioners, including 6 permanent commissioners and 4 who serve on a part-time basis. In July last year, Parliament did consider a petition filed by activist Wafula Buke to have the 9 commissioners removed from office on grounds of gross violation of the Constitution.
Na hii IEBC tunataka ifutulie mbali.
Under the Okoa Kenya campaign, the opposition coalition CORD has also been calling for a reconstitution of the electoral body, even threatening to boycott the 2017 elections if the IEBC remains as currently constituted. The matter of who sits in the IEBC is so complicated that even the traditional political party differences may disappear when the real debate begins on Muturi's proposal. Reforming the electoral body has been a topic before every major election for the last 20 years. Ben Kitili, KTN.
Right, so Speaker Justin Muturi doesn't seem to think regional balance is a strong enough reason for the taxpayer to continue footing the salaries of these 9 commissioners. That's our big cue tonight. Let us know what you think. Do you support the proposal to reduce the IEBC commissioners from 9 to 3? You can go ahead and share your thoughts with us by SMS. When you do, start with a yes or no and send an SMS to 22155, or you can tweet us, and that's at KTN News KE, or tweet myself at Kachungira. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say on that matter. Now, as we move on, you've probably heard the saying, hell hath no fury as a woman scorned. This may be particularly true in Nyeri. So true, in fact, that an officer commanding a police division in Nyeri has cautioned men to be very alert, especially when near angry women in Nyeri. Now, this warning came after yet another woman allegedly chopped off her husband's privates. The new victim has joined last week's victim at the Nyeri hospital, where doctors are now struggling to reattach the dismembered organ.
Even as Nyeri residents were still trying to digest last weekend's case of a man's privates being chopped off allegedly by the wife, they again woke up to news that yet another man had suffered a similar fate.
Wakati members of the public walisikia nduru wa nyumba ya mzee mmoja kucheck akapata kama there was a family dispute.
It is believed that the two quarreled over money. Matters came to a head when the said woman grabbed a kitchen knife and attacked her man, as explained by the Nyeri OSPD Charles Rotich.
Mama alikamata kisu akatunga mkono, left hand side ya mkono, alafu private part. Therefore hiyo mama ameshikwa, alafu watapia anytime before court kama investigation imeisha.
The 25-year-old man, an employee of a popular supermarket in Nyeri town, was immediately rushed to the Nyeri County Referral Hospital. The wife was arrested and held at the Nyeri police station. Onlookers expressed their distaste at the recent turn of gender-related violence meted on men, specifically in Nyeri County.
Ni nani atawaoa wasichana wa Nyeri? Mimi naona pengine ni roho baya iko hapa. Ya kuharibu wanaume.
Kwa mama Nyeri si wote wabaya.
Si wote wabaya. Nafikiri ni roho baya.
Kwa kuwa watu wengi wameingia katika uabudu wa shetani bila hata mwenzake kujua.
Sasa keti chini muongee kama familia, msolve hiyo case, because going to this extent unaweza pata kwamba kuna mashida ya nyumba, unapata kwamba hata financially wataenda chini kwa sababu sasa wataenda gharama ya hospitali.
Vijana wamepotea tu kwa pombe, ni mapombe haramu. Sasa wanakataa kufanya ile mambo ya kinyumbani kama wanaume. Naona sasa hii bibi yake ndio anafanya kila kitu na anategemewa na familia. Sasa unaona mama akienda kazi pahali anaenda anaitishwa pesa na bwana.
Owing to the recent happenings, the OSPD had this message for the men in Nyeri.
Therefore wanaume wakae chonjo.
The man underwent reattachment surgery and is recuperating at the Nyeri County Referral Hospital. Carol Derry, KTN, Nyeri.
Very sad that it seems to be a method of dispute resolution in that particular part of the country. Well, you can see that hashtag on your screen, Nyeri Women. You can go ahead and share your thoughts on that as well. Quite a few reactions coming in on Twitter that we'll get to later. But right now from Nyeri, let's go to northeastern Kenya, where the newly appointed coordinator, Mohammed Saleh, has announced that local chiefs will be given arms since they are exposed to attacks from the Al-Shabaab. The government will also be recruiting police reservists to bolster the war on Al-Shabaab. Ian Wafula has the details.
Attentively, they listened to every word, some even barely holding back their excitement. Indeed, the man sent from the office of the president came bearing good news for local chiefs in northern Kenya.
Ili mfanye kazi na hawa KPR na regular police na APs, alafu tufanye vita vizuri na hawa watu, tuende tushike Al-Shabaab physically.
And the goodies kept streaming. You see, for years chiefs in the area had been tasked with weighty matters such as security within their localities, despite the vastness of the northern Kenya. In fact, some like Chief Muhammad Jama had been undermined, threatened and demoralized, while his counterpart Yahya Muhammad's wife was killed when unknown gunmen stormed their homes last week Saturday.
Mimi niko na mpango ya kupatia nyinyi National Police Reserve addition. Garissa County nitawapatia 300 National Police Reserve ambayo itapata.
According to the government, chiefs who underwent paramilitary training and are stationed at the border with Somalia will be given first priority. And if the assurance by the government is anything to go by, then Mandera Senator Bill Okero and other northern Kenya leaders are a happy lot. Speaking during an interview on KTN, Bill Okero and Balambala Member of Parliament Abdi Kadir Omar requested the president for more than just arming chiefs and providing reservists, perhaps deploying security personnel of the same origin with the people.
We need security officers who know that terrain, who know that area, who know those people, who can identify, who can tell, and who are ready to pursue these people across the borders and everywhere they go. Give us those people.
I think there is a confusion amongst, unfortunately, the leadership of the country, particularly the people who manage our security, in terms of understanding who is a real Kenyan Somali and who is Al-Shabaab. Unfortunately, because I look like a native Somali, and the Al-Shabaab is supposed to look like somebody like me, unfortunately there is this blanket punishment.
Article 238 of the Constitution would differ with this narrative. In sub-article 2C, it states that in performing their functions and exercising their powers, national security organs shall respect the diverse culture of the communities within Kenya. Hence, in respect to deploying security personnel to the regions by observing ethnicity and origin would be a breach of the Constitution. For now, however, time will tell whether the arming of chiefs and provision of reservists is a step closer in fighting terrorism in the country. Ian Wafula, KTN.
So let's go a little more granular now as we look at this latest move to counter insecurity in northeastern Kenya. I'm now joined by Abdulaziz Ali Farah, and he is the MP for Mandera East. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Nancy.
What do you make of this new move to arm chiefs?
Well, arming chiefs is a security strategy to make sure that those government officials themselves, first of all, defend their own lives, because they have been frontline in dying. They were caught up.
So you support this? You think it would make a big difference?
in the web of the Al-Shabaab attacks. We support, yes, because the chiefs are the people who are on the ground, the people who are the first attendants to security issues, and therefore, unless they safeguard their lives, then we lose them. You can remember the other time I lost a senior chief in Arabia, and so it is realistic arming the chiefs, if possible, for them to safeguard their own lives.
All right, but is this perhaps dealing with a symptom of the problem and not the actual problem? I just want to read an excerpt from an article that was written by Matt Freer, who's an international security analyst. And he said, in countries all over the world, the dominant response is the hard power of uniforms and guns, further violence and conflict. We give the very response the terrorists want. Strong security is about good politics, not about the military, and must be a process visibly led by politicians. Are we putting a military solution to a political problem?
Well, we will combine the two. We will combine the two, and the essence of arming the chiefs and the home guards is to make sure that those ragtags, the Mungiki like Al-Shabaab, are dealt with on the periphery in the rural areas, so that when they strike, and these people, they look similar. So when they find one another in the same terrain in the rural areas, they can tackle one another. So I welcome the issue of chiefs being armed, because when we were in Mandera, we were talking to Wananchi, different groups of people. The chiefs were categorical. They said they can't live in their stations because they fear for their lives. And it is true, so many of them were killed. And therefore, they asked for protection. And the first protection is to have a gun with themselves.
But wouldn't it be more effective, even in the long term, to maybe invest more in things like intelligence? Because let's take the example of recently in Mombasa, one of the police reservists was attacked and he was shot, and he was a licensed gun carrier. So it's not that he wasn't, didn't have the option of being armed. But is this really going to make that much of a difference?
Well, in Kenya today, I don't think we lack intelligence. We have a whole bag full of intelligence. The problem is implementing acting on the intelligence. So, and well, I don't know when we will be able to implement the intelligence that we gather on a daily basis. So, if the chief can have intelligence that an attack is on the way, probably he can be on the lookout.
Well, Mandera Senator Bill Okero has also put forward that indigents, you know, like security personnel, should be taken within from the locals, from the pool of the locals. Do you agree with that proposition, and how do you think it will help?
Yeah, I agree with it totally, because the understanding was these people, first of all, know the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
They know the way the terrain is. Secondly, there is what is called the lack of, you know, confidence between the police, the security agencies, and wananchi, and therefore it became apparent that there was need to mingle these people with people who understand their language, people who gossip with them, so to say, people who can sit with them in shanties, who can be at the watering points, listening to people talk.
Right.
Thirdly, these people will walk. You know, our security personnel are usually fond of being on trucks and pickups. We want them to walk as the ragtag guys do. So we do as they do. So finally, these people will not know whether these are soldiers or not, so they will not be in uniform most of the time. So they can wear the local attire, and as they move around, they can get these guys, and I think we can deal with them.
So you think it's actually important enough that you actually contravene the constitution, which calls for regional balance and regional representation, to actually be able to achieve that within that region?
But that is kept very well. The constitution, we abide by it, because we are putting a certain number. We are not removing everybody. By the way, the bulk of the security agencies in that region will be people from the other counties.
Okay.
So it's just, you know, making sure that there's an ingredient that we can use when necessary for the situation around.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us to share your thoughts this evening. That is MP for Mandera East, Abdulaziz Ali Farah. You're watching KTN Prime. Many more stories when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to KTN Prime. I'm glad you stayed with us. Now, the President was taking roll call today. That's right. President Uhuru Kenyatta has blasted his cabinet secretaries for snubbing important events. Uhuru was speaking at the Youth Entrepreneurs Forum at Strathmore University, where out of the 5 cabinet secretaries invited, only 1 was present. The forum was held in preparation for the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit to be hosted by Kenya and the United States.
It's actually a very sad story that we're sitting here. I was just looking at that program. There is no government. There's Anne here. I don't know, Henry Rotich was supposed to be here. Amepotea, sijui yako wapi. Kaimenyi was supposed to be here, not here. Aden Mohammed was supposed to be here, not here. But then when they have these other functions where they are busy trying to strike deals with internet, they're all there. But when they're fellows wanting to help our own people, they are not there.
Pulled no punches. Now, Makueni Governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana has blamed structural deficiency for the massive pilferage within the Makueni County government. Kibwana says the county lacked an audit department, which resulted in the loss of millions of shillings. KTN Samogine has been following the dissolution hearing in Makueni today.
When he appeared as the Chief Executive Officer of Makueni County Government before the Dissolution Commission, the Makueni governor was put to task over corruption allegations that have bedeviled his county. The governor admitting that officials took advantage of a weak structural mechanisms to let corruption thrive.
Your role as the Chief Executive Officer of this county, are you aware of any controls or structures of control which are available within the county by way of audits or other structures that would prevent occurrence of such?
We didn't have a department initially of internal audit with just one person. So there could have been oversight on the basis of our not having enough staff.
Fielding questions from the county assembly lawyer, Kibwana was grilled over the 47 million shillings aborted tree planting exercise. a project that had been capped at 37 million shillings but ended up overshooting by nearly 10 million shillings. The governor accused his former county secretary of setting the plot in motion.
The genesis of the problem of the tree planting was there were coordinators who had been previously employed by the county secretary. And these coordinators were handed over to the Minister of Lands to help her to do the work.
Trying to ward off the tug of overseeing a corrupt county executive, Kibwana testified that upon sensing pilferage, he called in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Criminal Investigations Department.
And those were computer items.
Computer items are stored in a toilet?
Yes.
In your government? Governor?
And that's why somebody went home. I was able to discipline those from that report were mentioned in terms of all the, not just the trees, but all the other aspects.
The bad blood between the county assembly and the executive was evident, with the governor claiming the assembly frustrated the approval of his budget estimates.
I think it would be wrong to simply say that the executive and the assembly can just sit down and say, we are sorry, we have wasted a lot of time, now we are good boys and girls. This is an issue of the county government versus the people of Makueni.
The Council of Governors membership was represented at the Commission's hearing to show solidarity with the embattled governor. Kitui and Marsabit governors attended the session, saying the bad blood that has crippled county operations in Makueni was a cause for worry.
Our wish, all of us, was both the county executive and the county assembly, they work harmoniously. Whenever there are issues, they sit together and dialogue over them, and the reason prevail.
The hearing continues on Wednesday. Samogina, KTN.
And we keep the focus on county issues a little longer. As the debate on resources and devolution continues, we focus on the Western Belt. From the counties of Kakamega, Vihiga and Busia, the conversation about funds and the place of the national government cuts across. But as governors call for consultations on priorities, communities in the same measure want the county government to let them make decisions concerning their own affairs. Dorcas Wangira reports.
Kakamega, a giant in the western region. Here, a devolved government has made service delivery a reality to ordinary people. It's been 2 years of successes and challenges in equal measure. This is the home of Mumias Sugar, Kenya's largest sugar company. But there is a problem. Mumias is on the brink of collapse. The county government says a bailout as proposed by the national government is not the solution.
When I said, first of all, the 20% shares that you have, the national government owns in Mumias Sugar Company, should be transferred to the county government, because agriculture has been devolved fully. Of course, they have not accepted that. And then we suggested that after transferring the 20%, we should be able to organize ourselves, support that company as a county, and then after 5 years to 8 years, we privatize the company completely. It is the politics that has actually killed Mumias.
In Busia County, the issue is the medical equipment signed for 2 months past. It hasn't come.
One is that they don't know the nature of this equipment they are taking. They're just forced to sign the last page of the MOU. So many other things are hidden there. The cost of maintaining this equipment might be bigger than even the budgets of some counties. So you'll find that even bringing this equipment, hiring the technicians, all the lubricants that are necessary for them, ingredients to lubricate this equipment, those things might not be in Kenya.
During a courtesy call to the governors of Kakamega, Vihiga and Busia, the Standard Group CEO Sam Shelley reiterated the media group's commitment to keep the development and devolution agenda relevant.
I believe that the devolution agenda is transforming the lives of the people of this country. There are many areas of our country that were neglected when the government was centralized, but we are pleased that across the country there is real transformation that is being undertaken by county governments.
The object of devolution is to increase the participation of people in exercising the powers of the state in making decisions affecting them. Here in Vihiga County, public participation has been key, and this is a picture of devolution just taken from a different angle.
Tiba inapeana nafasi kila mtu kuhusishwa. Na walemavu sisi ni watu, inafaa tuhusishwe.
Walemavu wangapi wamefaidika? Swali kama hilo. Kwa sababu katiba yetu inataka kila mmoja wetu afaidike.
Dorcas Wangira, KTN.
And a very good evening. Welcome to KTN Business. My name is Abi Agina. The private sector has been challenged to support local entrepreneurship if the country is to achieve sustained economic growth. The sentiments echoed by President Uhuru Kenyatta underscore the government's focus to grow small and medium-sized enterprises in the country to be part of the economic agenda. And with the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit scheduled to be held in the country in July, increased support for the sector could be around the corner. Joy Doreen Bira with that report.
Established businesses need to do more to encourage young business owners if entrepreneurship in Kenya is to flourish. These were the remarks made by President Uhuru Kenyatta at the Youth Entrepreneurs Forum at Strathmore University.
We need to change our mindset. The government spends billions of shillings on technology every year, and yet none of it is spent amongst our people. I don't understand why. Yeah? It's easier to make money out there than it is to make money from you.
The forum that brought together young entrepreneurs from across the country is a precursor to the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit, geared towards creating wealth through innovation and improving the business climate across Kenya and Africa at large.
Opportunities are out there. We just need to believe in ourselves, go out there and grab them. It's not guaranteed that they work, but at least make the effort.
Entrepreneurs across the country are hoping that the 2015-2016 budget will be able to take care of their needs. Among the challenges that continue to face young entrepreneurs in Kenya is access to funds, and despite the availability of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund and Uwezo Fund, other challenges continue to bedevil entrepreneurship. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN Business.
Many thanks there, Joy. Moving on, this year's theme for the budget is a program-based budget. It's no wonder then that close to 320 billion shillings has been set aside for infrastructure and energy projects, which are seen as key enablers to economic growth. On tonight's pre-budget analysis, I take a look at just how these two sectors are critically improving the investment climate and driving growth.
The 2015-2016 pre-budget analysis in association with ICEA Lion Group.
Talk to us today to learn more about its benefits. QROP's Individual Retirement Benefit Scheme from ICEA Lion Group. In pension or in person, come on home. Unshackle your future today.
The 2.2 trillion shilling budget for 2015-2016 fiscal year is one that has got many talking. The budget, the first of its kind, has grown from 1.8 trillion to 2.2 trillion shillings, an indication of the government's commitment to increasing economic growth.
I think my comments around the highways and the roads is that infrastructure in general is a long-term investment. So in some sense, what you are allocating in any particular year is only a small piece of a much larger program. And the real issue and the main issue is commitment on the policy front to the program and to those policies to have the infrastructure built by this government and whatever governments come up in the future. Because
A quick breakdown of the numbers based on budget estimates for 2015-2016 shows that transport and infrastructure will receive a whopping 277 billion shillings. Road construction will receive 58.5 billion, while 26.6 billion will go towards road maintenance. Foreign financed roads are set to receive close to 42.3 billion shillings, while the annuity roads project is eyeing 5.2 billion shillings in funding.
Program which the government is pursuing now under the PPPs includes maintenance, and that
infrastructure has continued to receive increased funding as the government works round the clock to bring down the cost of doing business, which continues to be a major impediment for investors. Since last year's budget, infrastructure has been among the top 5 sectors which received amongst the highest allocations. The infrastructure front has a number of multi-billion-dollar projects lined up. This include the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopian Transport Corridor, LAPSET, the second Nyeri Bridge, the construction of new berths at the Port of Mombasa, and also the standard gauge railway line, which are tipped to take up a sizable chunk of the funds.
Much hope that the oil and gas sector will be developed in the next 5 years.
The other area critical to economic growth is the energy sector. The sector is expected to receive about 55 billion shillings. Geothermal exploration is set to receive 13.2 billion shillings, while power transmission 21.1 billion, rural electrification 14.9 billion, street lighting 4.5 billion, and the last mile connectivity will receive 1.5 billion shillings.
Energy will continue to do well. I think as long as the program is facilitated in the way that it has been in the past.
The government has been keen to lower energy costs with an estimated 300 megawatts added to the grid. The plan is to add a total of 5,000 megawatts by 2017 to drive the industrial sector. The energy shortfall has impacted negatively on Kenya's competitiveness, which through this year's budget is hoped to be addressed. The current energy mix is over 45% of power being generated through hydro, which is costly compared to other renewable energies such as wind, solar and geothermal. For now, Kenya is at a tipping point. Analysts are banking on institutional reforms and transparency to drive the energy and infrastructure agenda, which has remained underfunded compared to other emerging economies. Abi Agina, KTN Business.
Which one was the first one?
Construction was 58.5 billion.
The 2015-2016 pre-budget analysis in association with ICEA Lion Group.
Well, indeed, we'll be keeping an eye on the budget day, which is expected to take place on Thursday. And something else that has just come in is that the Monetary Policy Committee has actually increased the CBR from 8.5% to 10%. This is expected to actually affect the levels of issuing credit. Well, let's now take a quick look at how your money performed in our financial report. My name is Abi Agina. Let's do this tomorrow, same time, same place.
An action-packed and sporty data has been a very good evening, and welcome to today's edition of KTN Sports. My name is Moses Wakisi. Starting us off, the national 15s rugby coach Jerome Pawot has made minimal changes to the squad that hammered Portugal of 41-15 as he picked the squad that will face Zimbabwe this weekend. Tofai Nakuru's Lawrence Buyachi and Western Bulls David Chenge were recalled to duty for the country, and they replaced Martin Owila and Emmanuel Mavala. In the absence of Wilson Kopondo, the side again will be captained by experienced Brian Nikuli as they continue to chase better world rankings. The squad is set to depart for Harare on Thursday afternoon. Bomba School from the Lake region, who are the National Secondary School Girls Netball Champions, lost 14-32 to the rivals Shimba Hills Girls in the opening Group A match at the Kenya Secondary Schools Sports Association's National Term 2A Games that got underway at Nyeri Complex Primary School. Marilyn Atieno almost single-handedly contributed to Shimba Hills' victory as she scored 23 goals. In another Pool A match, Mandera region's champions Tetu Girls were able to have a 14-35 victory to Cheptilil from Mau region. St. George's High School from Coastal region and Mau region's St. Peter's School recorded opening day victories in the Pool A boys handball matches. St. Peter's hammered Orero from Lake region at 34-11, while St. George's edged out Kijabe High School from Abadea's region 18-14. Metropolitan Netball champions Parkland will tomorrow lock horns with Cheptilil in their second match. Still in matters of soccer, Western Stima goalkeeper Gabriel Andika is the winner of the Sports Journalists Association of Kenya's Sport Pesa Football of the Month. The 22-year-old scooped the mayor accolade ahead of prolific Mathare United midfielder Eric Johanna in a tight contest decided by sports writers Paul. Andika played in all Western Stima matches, making excellent saves as the Kamega Bay side held the 13-time Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia to a goalless draw. He was again the star man for his side in a 2-0 victory over the AFC Leopards. The Stima custodian helped his club to 5th place at the end of the first leg and becomes the 3rd beneficiary of the award, which was first won by Ali Bondo, then Ulinzi Stars forward Joad Makwata.
Thank you very much. Sawa jamaa, wacha tufanye interview.
Mchezaji ni playing time na mimi uamini pale niko safe. Juu napewa kila kitu na deserve kucheza, kufanya nini. That's why sina haraka kukimbilia mahali pengine. Na bado pia age bado inaniallow nike hapa hizi. Ningefurahia sana nikichezea national team. Hiyo ndio kitu next. Nataka ni labda nikiperform vyema. Wakiniona waniite nipate kuperform pia nicheze pia national team nione venye pia huko iko.
The rest for the 2022 Winter Olympics may not be as one-sided as many has thought. With Beijing long viewed as the favorite in the two-city contest, the Kazakhstan bid made a strong showing with the IOC members presenting itself the candidate that offers a real winter setting with plenty of natural snow. The closed-door presentation could play a vital role in influencing opinion ahead of the secret IOC ballot in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on 31st July. Amity and Beijing are the only two candidates left in the race after 4 European cities pulled out for political and financial reasons. Almaty, a city in the Central Asia that is less known by the IOC members, had most to gain. It seems that it made greater impact on Tuesday by getting its message across the members, who suggested that the race may now be much tighter than expected. And with that, we wrap up on today's edition of KTN Sports. My name is Moses Wahisi. Have a lovely night.
KTN Weather in association with Team Do.
Mama has Mortein Doom, which makes mosquitoes go away and not come back the whole night. So you get a peaceful night's sleep all night long.
Mortein Doom. A peaceful night is a Mortein Doom night.
So there was a lot to talk about in our bulletin tonight, from Nyeri women to IEBC. But let's take a look at what you had to say. On our big Q, we asked you whether you support the proposal to reduce IEBC commissioners from 9 to 3. And the poll results are out. 82% say yes and only 18% say no. There's a yes here from Victor Wasonga Maloa from Nakuru. Thanks for your message. You say the Electoral Commission needs only a few efficient ones. And there's a no here from Hussein Salat. You say Speaker Muturi's proposal to slash IEBC commissioners is an irony. It comes from one who presides over a bloated assembly. Thank you for your tweet. And this SMS says, no, they want a number that can be compromised easily by bribing. While Vincent in Embakasi, you say, it's a yes for you. The taxpayers' money is really strained. Paying 9 commissioners who otherwise should only be paid allowances when they meet, and the rest should be used to improve security in our borders. We also did have the hashtag Nyeri women running. A quick look at your comments on that. This one says, at this rate, the government should pay men marrying Nyeri women a risk allowance. And there's one here that says Nyeri men should be more responsible. Lazima kuna jambo. And you seem to intimate that we should actually look at why the women are doing this. And there's one here from Drimberia. You say it's ironic about Nyeri, from beatification to mutilation, just like that. But this last one is a very important tweet from Mariga Wangombe. You say, it's sad that gender violence against men in Kenya is permissible and a laughing matter too. It's a rather sobering one, isn't it? Well, thank you very much for watching KTN Prime and for participating in the bulletin this evening with your comments and feedback. We can keep talking on Twitter. Continue to use the hashtag Nyeri Women if you'd like to add your voice to that conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Miresha Oiti was our sign language interpreter tonight. I'm Nancy Kachingira. Have a very good night. Enjoy the rest of your viewing, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.